So this morning is Bible studying. I've been on it for the last hour or so. Matthew 4. Now I think we're in Matthew 5 at the moment. And they're looking up some stuff on Google.
Mm-hmm. So I've found something about crowns. It says there are 5 heavenly crowns. So there's the imperishable crown. That's not about winning souls. There's a rejoicing crown, the crown of rejoicing. There's the crown of righteousness, which I think we get when we accept Jesus. We inherit this crown for righteousness. Yeah. Crown of glory.
What are these crowns for?
The crown of life. They're the crowns that are in the Bible. So there's 5 of them, but none of them represents like getting more crowns as you win souls. I don't know if that. I don't think that's true. I just think the Bible just says that we should go into all the world and preach the gospel. It doesn't say you need to get 1,000 to get a crown. When you get 1,000, you get a crown, or when you get 500, you get no. You just need to go into all the world and preach the gospel.
Each soul where you save, you get a crown for each soul. So that's why some people grow and hustle and try to force people to get baptized. And then really, because them will try to pile up them crown them over heaven, innit? I'm 100% sure. I'm going to ask Denise and Paula. They usually tell you when you go to church.
Yeah, but they could be talking rubbish, sorry.
Yeah, that's why I want to know if I'm really rubbish in it. Because it's strange if you know that are really rubbish then.
Alright, hold on, let me find it. Maybe I was...
So she's at Google. Do you want to call Denise in the meantime?
Yeah, could do that.
This is a channel of awesome women.
Crowns for every Christian.
Informative. Today's Bible study.
I just read where it said. Okay, so that crown of rejoicing. By the time we are through with our message, you'll be able to see why the Bible scholars refer to it as a soul winner's crown. So apparently, the crown of rejoicing is the soul winner's crown.
Told you. So I teach you something today then.
The soul of rejoicing is?
The crown of rejoicing is the soul winner's crown.
Okay. So how many people have you saved?
Don't know.
Have you saved any?
I doubt it.
So there's no crown. There's no crown there so far. I have none. So I need to start.
No, but I think
0.
I think in all of our getting, we need to get wisdom. Yeah. There might be a crown of rejoicing that is a soul winner's crown, but that does not mean that we need to publicise that as, okay then, you need to make sure that you're winning souls so you get crowns. I don't think that's what that's all about.
Feel as well,
That's not what. Then that's wrong, you know.
Why,
you don't.
The Bible that's so wrong. Why wouldn't they try to force people to get baptized and something just for when you go to heaven you can get the
At the
crown?
end of the day, as I said, our mission is to go into all the world and preach the gospel and win souls for God. We're not doing it so that we get crowns, and we shouldn't be. And as well, them saying, if like, say for example, I take my friend to church and say, get baptized so that I can get a crown, yeah? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You know why? Because that person could still end up in hell. Because they might be baptized, all well and good. They might come to church on Sunday, all well and good. But they've never really accepted Jesus. They haven't really changed their life. They're not living according to the Holy Spirit. So all of that you're trying to get, you probably got no crowns. Let's just put that out there, because you haven't really won any souls. You've done nothing. You've just, made a mockery of the Bible, really. That's all you've done. That's how I see it. You have to be wise in what you're telling people.
That's true.
To do in churches.
True.
But for you, Paulette, you're not a Christian, innit? You're not a born-again Christian.
Never been baptized.
You wouldn't really have an aim to get anyone saved at the moment, would you? But you do know you could.
Even though I'm not baptized?
Yeah.
Is it?
You believe in Christ, don't you?
Of course.
You believe in the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically believe in the Trinity. God, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you are a believer, so you yourself can
And why do
get
we?
people to believe
I think again we get it all
or
wrong.
convert.
We need to be baptized, yes, but I think you make a decision to be baptized later on in your walk with God. So you accept Jesus first,
And try to live
and you
the
you
life
know,
first.
yeah, you try to change certain things in
Yeah.
your life. You learn about the Bible. You learn, you know, the basics of, you know, living a Christian life, and then you eventually you make that decision to be baptized. At the end of the day, no one should be forced to be baptized. That is not what baptism is all about. Baptism is like
But
a
Jamaica,
visual.
me talking loud and clear. Jamaica, they love force people to baptize out there. They think I joke. No, I understood. Natalie, you have to know that's true. That Jamaica,
Yeah,
they love force people to baptize. Listen, you know, so over here, I see it's so different because it's over here, yeah. Especially when I think Paula did baptize. You know, so before them baptize her, she did have to do certain amount of this or I don't know. Bible study, but they say at Jamaica they just want to see you walking at the church, and if baptism are going a day the same day, then waiting for baptize you.
There were churches like that over here. Like, for example, you might be at a baptism service, and they might say, you know, does anybody here want to be baptized? I don't think that's necessarily wrong if you feel that you want to make that step, but I don't think you should force people, because, you know, when I got baptized, it was not long after. But it was a ways after I had, you know, became a Christian. It wasn't the same week, month, not even year, I don't think. So, you know, you learn, you grow, and then you make that decision at the end of the day, because that step is like you really saying you're ready to walk that life. And if you're not ready, then
That makes sense.
why would you, you know? Because as I said, you're not helping anybody. You're not changing anybody's life by making them get baptized. That means nothing. At the end of the day, it's your walk. All these things we said about, you know, blessed are the poor in spirit, etc. All of these things come into play there. Your lifestyle has to change, and you have to be more like Christ. And if you're going to get baptized but still live in the world, then it doesn't even make sense. So we have to be wise in what we're saying to people. That's what I say. But yeah, I have learned something. So if I ever do win any souls, then I know that I will get a crown. Great. But I'm not going to do it for that reason. Because for some people as well, that's not their passion. Like, some people are really passionate about going on the road and speaking to people and, you know, telling people about Jesus. Some people are not. I don't have a problem telling people what I believe, but that's not my passion. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, sometimes I somebody me say them brave, which is good, but not everybody brave like that.
We used to do it though when we were younger. Our church used to go out on Tottenham High Road and like sing, but I would sing. You wouldn't get me really talking to people, you know. I don't know. You're just filming now. Have you got anything to say?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go on.
Oh, should I keep reading? I thought you were going to say something. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Anyone who breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. So we have to follow the law, people. So that's the 10 Commandments. Do you know what the 10 Commandments are?
What's the 10 Commandments?
Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy brother and thy sister. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not. 10 thou shalt not be night.
You shall have no other gods before me.
Oh yeah. I know, so they're reading, and I can't remember them.
And
Thou
God,
shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie.
I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord your Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labour and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your animals, nor your alien within your gates. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but he rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the 7th day and made it holy. Honour your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbour, you shall not covet your neighbour's house, you shall not covet your neighbour's wife or manservant or maidservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbour. When the people saw the thunder and lightning, that's the end of the commandments. But that's not all the law, but it's all of like everything that's written basically in like Leviticus. So that's all about the law and offerings and how you give your offerings, and there's so many things in the Bible really that, you know, Jesus is saying at this time, even though he's come, we still have to fulfill the law. You can't forget about it. So, you know, people that only read the New Testament, for example, are missing out on, you know, other things that they need to be following as a Christian. But looking at those commandments, yeah, how would we really follow them in this day and age? How can you not work on the 7th day? No, on a serious level, how can you not work on the 7th day?
Question as well, if the 7th day is the Sabbath day, should you be going to church on the Sabbath day?
No.
So when someone don't understand that, then
You should be resting.
you say enough
if
with
you have a
nothing.
family, if you have a family,
Spend time with your
you
family.
spend time with your family and you talk, you preach the word, you communicate, and whatever you do, it has to be pertaining to God.
Alright. So like for your Sabbath day, a Sunday when I go to church, innit? So which day you don't go to church then?
Well, actually, you can. To me, I believe you can go to church. It's just that you're not supposed to do any laboring whatsoever.
Just laboring.
Yeah. So if you can go to church, and you're praising in it. So you're going into the sanctuary basically. You're gonna talk about Christ. You're gonna do everything Christ-like. The only thing is your food that you're gonna eat, it needs to be prepared the day before. You're not supposed to be doing nothing
No
new
washing, no cooking, no cleaning.
on that day, unless, God forbid, you know, someone may be dying or whatever. That's when you come in to do something. But you know, some people is against that as well when it comes to the Sabbath. Because when Jesus healed that man, did he heal someone or something? And they said, how can you do that on the Sabbath? And he said, would you let someone die on the Sabbath or something like that? So you did have people who really committed to their Sabbath. But when I was committed to my Christian life, I used to keep the Sabbath. But I used to cook. Well, no. I actually used to cook the day before sometimes. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I have an auntie in America.
I used to keep the. I know I used to keep the Sabbath.
She used to keep the Sabbath as well, and they wouldn't do nothing on Sunday, so they used to cook Saturdays, and they never even used to turn on the light. But because we were there, yeah, because that's work.
Turn on the light.
That's work. So it says you don't labour on the Sabbath. So turning the light on and things, don't do.